I'll never touch it.
All right.
I'll tell you.
Well, it's called the meeting to order, meeting of the Finance Committee for Stephenson County, Monday, it's December 7th or 17th, December 15th, 2025. And with that, I will move to item number 2, prayer. Anybody like to open us in prayer?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frick.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that you've given us together here and study the work of our county. We ask that you would give each one of us knowledge and wisdom as we go forward. Thank you for each member that's here this evening. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Sorry, we turned the silent off. All right. Item 3, approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to do that.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a motion and a second? I think Brian's not getting on yet.
Yeah, he's okay. Fine.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Review and approval of meeting minutes from November 7th, 2025.
That's right.
Pleasure. Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of claims for the health department. I'm not going to pass, well, I guess it's a big stack, but we have, they must not have been able to get to it this month. We have cash requirements of $68,191.54, manuals of $2,312.49 for a grand total of $70,504.03. I've entertained a motion to approve those at. So moved. Motion and a second. Any other discussion on claims for the health department? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There you go. Thank you, sir. And okay, public comments.
No, you gotta do our table.
What?
You have another set of claims.
Can you both ways?
Oh, shame on me.
You did that.
Thanks. Good thing you're on the ball. All right. Madam Baker reminds me, we have one more set for the county as a whole. Cash requirements of $555,541.39. Manuals of $1,200,342.89 for a grand total of $1,755,884.28. I will just say, Madam Finance Director, you're not kidding. It's been an expensive month. What's your pleasure, committee?
Motion to approve.
I hear a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on the claims? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
I'm sorry. What was an aye?
motion carried. Okay, yeah, I got ahead of myself there today. I should have done that first, so I apologize to the public at large. If anybody got consternated about that. So 7.1, Diamond Brothers, Carrie's not here. I have not talked to her. I assume everything's going okay for signups for next year. No, I haven't heard any issues from anybody, so.
Open enrollment is down.
Okay, so we'll keep moving on that. County Administrator, man, you have the floor.
We'll have to pull up my report. I would say a huge thanks to Leanne, who has kind of taken over the UCCI information submission because I have been pulled in many directions lately. Has to vendor communications, you guys are well aware, and me continuing to field those. I think on last Monday, I spoke to 11 different vendors on Monday. We are going to be working on the IMRF annual posting, as that will be due by the end of the year as well. I attended the ILCMA and IACA fall downstate meeting on the 4th and 5th. There was a retirement party for 2 of the senior advisors that between the 2 of them had 100 years of experience in the field. One of them was the mentor who I was connected with right when I took the position. So it was nice to be able to go to their send off. They had the awards for the year as well. 2 of the topics that I found particularly interesting the next day at the educational part was leadership and succession planning and just how counties are dealing with that as a whole. And they were kind of intrigued by the fact that I had done some in-house leadership things with some department heads, because that was kind of a topic where you grow talent up through a department, that may not have the skills for the department that they run, but may need some refreshers on like the soft skills, leadership things, those sorts of things. So that was one of the seminars the next day, and the other one dealt with futures of organizations and how you define success and what that would look like. So the RFP for shredding service will be before us tonight. Greater Freeport Partnership meeting is this coming Wednesday. I attended the Workforce Connection meeting last week for Chairman House. It was at Rockford Toolcraft. Was a really interesting,
Very neat place.
yeah, very neat. They took us on a tour of their facility afterwards and kind of talked about how it grew to the 2 locations that they're currently in. And one of the press machines they have is the biggest in the northern part of the country. And it was very interesting to see, and kind of the partnership they have to retain the talent in the Rockford area from their junior college and things as well. So kind of some things that we've talked about with Highland and
Yeah.
so, but it was, I find those things fascinating to learn about how those different companies function and stuff. So it was really interesting. And as most of you know, arguments were heard on December 1st on the lawsuit with the nursing center. Matters were continued for the judge taking it under advisement to the 29th at 1:30. Judge Olson said it's his intent to have a ruling at that time. However, he was not making promises with the holidays between there, but wanted to get it set on the calendar and try to move it along in a timely manner. So that's all I know.
Let's hope so. Any questions? All right.
I just have one, as you were looking at your leadership and succession planning. How do we feel in our county as far as cross-training people if something happened to you tomorrow?
We've talked about that and worked on it between the offices, especially like the annual functions and different things, but I know a lot of other counties have either like an associate administrator or do some, internships or things like that, but we haven't done that yet.
It's a good question, Mr. Burke. That sounds like a strategic planning item, doesn't it, Mr. Bush?
Yep.
Remind our fearless chairman of that next time he's here. Anything else? Hearing none. All right, Madam Finance Director, you have the floor.
I just wanted to touch on a couple of things on the revenue and expense budget comparison report.
That is not linked, at least not on my copy.
What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I sent out in the email
Yes.
earlier today. Yes.
I'm just reminding everybody out.
So the VAC, you'll see that they received 100% of their revenues. And it's kind of a different situation with their expenses. It's kind of an in and out, but I have to do an adjustment to show that all of that money went out. So that's just something that I do in December. It hasn't happened yet. So that's why their expenses look like they've used 0%. Same situation with tuberculosis, which is Fund 39. That's an adjustment. All of that money is held in the same bank account as the health department funds. And so in the bookkeeping aspect of it, I just have to make one big transfer after all the distributions have been given to the tuberculosis fund. So just wanted to point that out. The only other things I really wanted to update you on, the audit planning meeting, I just reached out to Sigich today. We usually meet in December. Everybody's it just seems like December's flying by. Lindsay Fish is our main contact. She's kind of busy over the next weeks, and I know a lot of people have vacations planned. So we are going to meet during the first, I think it's January 12th, we decided on. So we'll get things rolling. It seems like we just ended, but let's do it again. And then I'm kind of just doing my year-end processes. Now that we've input our audit adjustments, 2024 can be cut off and finalized, and then 2026 can be opened. So I'm just kind of doing that process. And this is kind of when it gets messy, because we open up period 13, which is for those invoices that we may receive in 2026 that belong in 2025. So accounts payable for the departments and for the treasurer's office is going to be a little bit messy for the next few months, but that's kind of an update on what is going on. see if they have any questions.
Are there any of these line items that jump out at you as being surprising in any way?
As far as the report goes,
Yeah,
not really. I mean, you'll notice that if the revenues are over budget, I'm just looking at like matching fund 006 and county bridge. It kind of is in line with what they're bringing in. As far as, there's one other that I wanted to point out. And keep in mind also that if these funds have cash carry forward built into their budgets, it's not a true revenue.
right.
So you'll not see that amount in the revenue earned, but it's there. So nothing else really.
Okay. And this is through November?
Yes,
Because it still looks like when I look at the totals, the
right.
total revenue funds for reported funds and expenses for reported funds, it looks like we're down in both. Like we haven't spent as much, we haven't brought in as much as what we planned on. Am I reading that right?
Yes. That's usually how it goes.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, I
That's
think
pretty
a
standard.
year ago was a long time. I don't remember. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
Adrian, Fund 09, county motor fuel tax, there's been some anticipation for the arrival of those funds out there at the highway department, I know. Do you have any additional information or shed any light on that?
I have not spoken to Brian or Dale about those funds. I imagine they'll be coming in soon because that was quite a large chunk.
Yeah, it's still a big number.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anybody else? All right, I don't have anything else myself, so we will keep moving. So the planning reorganization of the county board and election years. You want to comment on that? It's just part of what's coming at the end of this year, next year.
Yeah, next year.
Maybe Mr. Helms was going to mention something about that. And then I believe everybody saw the treasurer's report. Anybody have any questions or comments on that? We are on that line. I did not. She listed a few things.
She also sent out an email.
Yeah, so if you have any further questions, you might reach out to Stephanie directly. No old business, new business approval of sale of surplus property. There is one parcel number 151001 25108 was purchased for $12.30. It's a property up in Lake Somerset, it sounds like. So I would entertain a motion to approve the sale of this piece of property, get it back on the tax.
Motion to approve?
And motion, second. Any other questions, thoughts? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That's the green. Okay. Good. No charge. Okay. Approval of RFP for countywide shredding services, Georgia, fill us in.
So, most of you may or may not recall, about a year and a half ago or so, we went into a countywide agreement with Republic because they are who had bought out mooring disposal and shred beast, which is what the county formerly used. They have sold off that division and are no longer offering shredding services. So we, in the meanwhile, have had arrangements with companies to do like 1 or 2 pickups without contract. The RFP would be for a countywide contract once again.
Okay. Everybody's had a chance to please look at that. Any thoughts, questions, comments? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve it. Second. And a motion and a second. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carry the motion. All right, let's see, the county shredding, so approval of payment for guardian ad litem services, everybody know what that is? I'm familiar with that, so. Would you like to explain how this came to be?
So this is generally an expense that would be run through court services. They have done this as a manual check in the past. This is the largest one that they have had. And they're hoping to get that payment out to that attorney prior to the end of the year due to the amount it needed to go through a committee as well as the board. So we are bringing it to finance to get that approved.
Gotcha. So we are approving a payment of $11,576.05 for guardian ad litem services. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
Motion to
You
approve.
are the motion lady. We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. We've got next, a proposal from JMDJR Law for past due invoices owed to Ethical Nurse Staffing Agency LLC. Would you like to comment on that, Madam Administrator?
So before you is the changes that were sent to us this afternoon. Mr. Larson did review them and he and I spoke. He doesn't see any problem with the changes that they are proposing in here. But I want you all to see the red lines and the changes. So
Yeah, Carl and I spoke about this earlier today, and he said his only minor concern was in number 8, where it says, notwithstanding the foregoing debtor hereby acknowledges and agrees that the debt is valid and accurate, regardless of whether the waiver is rescinded due to the debtor's fault of its obligations to met. So, if we agree that it is a debt that we owe, then he has no problem with that. Say, I would have to say we agree that it is a debt that we owe. I see it's way around. So at this point, Farrell, outside of that, was pretty happy with the agreement, and I would entertain a motion to move that to the county board. Motion. I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to. And then we have approval of payment prioritization of outstanding vendor claims for the nursing center. I wish Madam Helms was here since she has been kind of heavily involved in the process. Everybody see that sheet that she still has out there? I don't see a number, but that's a pretty good number of people and vendors that we have. The county owed numbers are highlighted in yellow. The healthcare service, well, the employee staffing group is being covered by this thing we just moved to the county board. And the healthcare services group, the food service one, I don't know. Are they chirping hard, do you know, Georgia, or?
of the vendors listed that are not as the first group of priority, the only one that I've spoken to continuously is the second one, the employer solutions staffing group. And this afternoon, he and I went over invoices, and now it appears there is one invoice that we do not have entered for $22,037.13. I haven't seen the invoice yet to verify that it is ours. But at this point, there is no fees or interest being charged. He is trying to keep the account open for us in case we need the service.
Okay.
I've spoke to Serenity. They don't foresee an issue with needing that particular staffing agency if they were to move to close the account. But as of right now, they've been checking in regularly. They know about the court case.
Yes.
They know that we have a plan to make a portion of a payment. I haven't talked exacts, of course, because we don't know what's going to get approved, but he's been talking to me regularly, but been accommodating.
Got you. So, Madam Finance Director, this brings a question to my mind. We don't have any money budgeted to pay any of this at this time, do we, without the advance coming next year,
Right, these payments would take place January 1.
January 1,
Mhm.
based on that advance on levy that we already.
Mhm.
Okay. And how much is that again? Mikey?
1.275 million.
275. So that's the gist of what we're prioritizing.
Yes.
And then if the lawsuit comes back in our favor and we decide to close on the sale regardless of an appeal, or, depending on how that plays out. Because that's something we could do. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, I've been talking to Carl.
If there's no appeal, we can move forward.
I mean, even if there is, we could still close, according to what he's telling me. We would be at risk of having to unravel that at some point if we would eventually lose.
And I'm not going to even pretend to
Not gonna do that.
make a decision on a legal matter like that, nor do I believe Mr. Larson should at this point.
Gotcha.
Be making any decisions
Yeah, I'm just saying we discussed it.
Do.
Right,
till after the 29th of December.
gotcha, understood.
And the last thing I would want to do is prematurely move forward and have to unravel
Right.
an even larger mess. So
You sure?
patience is a virtue in this case.
I got you. Just having a little fun.
What's over?
Interesting way to have fun.
It's, they don't have to deal with that guy anymore, so I gotta have fun somehow. Anyway, I'll move on. So before us tonight, we're spending about $1.2 million, and we need to recommend how that's gonna be played out come January 1st, unless I'm mistaken. So you see the current list of A priorities. Mr. Chairman, what's your feeling on the county being a priority in that? Is that something that you feel is a priority, or can we hold those off until we know if the sale goes through? I mean, that's basically just going back in the general fund, right?
Yeah, so this list that's before you, I had asked Georgia and Adrian to come up with their suggestion for prioritization, understanding that we would cover or pay the most likely to go through court first, and then the highest amount of finance charge or late fees second. So when you see the county in yellow, that is the lowest priority because we are not charging ourselves interest or late fees. And I have been assured that there's enough money in these other funds to pay the county last.
Okay.
That they're not in jeopardy. I think liability was one that maybe a little touch and go, but I would prefer, my preference would be what they put together, what I asked them to put together.
Gotcha.
Which is what's before you tonight. So the top two would be what, 154, 207, 54 apiece, and everything else that's not yellow would be paid off. Now, I hadn't thought about this, but I was made aware today that the CMS penalty, I have no idea where we're at with that, but the 34,000 that's in there is a placeholder. It's not the actual amount. So where are we at with that?
The attorney said it could take CMS quite a while to.
When's the last time we talked to the attorney?
November.
Okay. So it could be more, and that will have to be paid in full. Whatever that is, there is no putting that off to the end.
Is that max 50,000?
No, 50,000 is our liability deductible.
Right.
This is from beginning of the year, I believe, when the
I'm
the
thinking.
Medicaid reports didn't get put in on
Yep,
time.
I remember.
Yeah,
I got you.
from a previous administration.
Another one.
So
Okay.
yeah, ideally, if it's approved tonight and onto the board, Georgia will reach out to each and every vendor and ask them to waive or reduce late charges, interest. Depending on what they say, once the transfer is made on January 2nd, my expectation would be we're cutting checks,
Right. Okay.
getting it off the books.
So just to be clear then, the items in green A are the ones that are going to, correct?
So the A priorities were when we were still operating the facility,
Okay.
so I think
So,
the color coding is more important now, and I
Yeah.
apologize for not using some better colors because the first two are pink and then Fresh Ideas is pink also, so those are.
Yep.
Yeah. But everything else outside of the yellow is orange and plans to be paid.
so to reiterate, we're paying 154,207 of those top two. Okay. Out of the gate.
Unless,
And then everything else gets paid off.
Yes,
What
unless
we're-
other vendors are willing to waive any finance charges or interest
Okay.
that they've charged us thus far, and then that number will be more.
Gotcha. Everybody get that?
Just, so we're paying off all of the A's? Well, forget about the
Ignore
A's.
the
Forget about
Forget about the
Yeah.
A's.
Forget about the
All right.
Go by
Okay,
the
got it.
color.
Their name
Yeah.
and colors.
All right, thank you.
You know, the country and in suites, we do have the repayment agreement with Mr. Perez, but that will take a number of years for it to reach full payment, but he did make his second payment today. So,
Okay. Guess he's coming clean on that. Okay, so we have a plan in place that's been recommended by our experts in finance and administration. So you see before you an opportunity to get some of this stuff off the books, which I am very appreciative of and thankful for. If we can move forward with that, I would entertain a motion to approve it as presented. Oh,
More than that. Well, I'll make a motion.
let's do the motion and then,
Make the motion to move, and then I got a question.
okay, I got a motion and a second. Questions?
So the question is, does this totals that we've got here, does that take out the whole 1.275 million? It does.
Oh, man.
But like I said,
I
if
was
they
hoping-
waive any fees.
I was hoping there would be a
It's
little left
extra.
over for something. but
And we
okay.
do want to keep that CMS money set aside, just
Right.
if they
Yeah, we're all,
do decide we only have 34,000, that'd be great.
okay.
Yes, sir.
My understanding is there's also an additional 66,000 sitting in the account that's our county's money. That can also be spent. So maybe that's what sits
Right,
on the sidelines
Right.
until we find out what CMS is going to do.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, my other thought on that is if we do need a little bit of money in the liability fund, because all those bills are due up front. We start paying in November
and next year.
and to May before real estate taxes come in, so we need to pay that all up front. So I figured we could maybe use that as a cushion as well.
And one last point.
Yes, sir. Right.
Inevitably, somebody is going to say, why didn't we do this from the very beginning? Why didn't we just cover the bills? And it's pretty obvious to me that we don't have $1.2 million to continue to pay the bills. And this is everything pre-September 1st. It's not a business model.
Great.
It's solving a problem by taking in advance 3 years of that levy. It's not a way to operate a business going forward.
Right.
So if anybody happens to ask you, why didn't you just do this before you decide to sell it? It didn't solve any problems. It didn't stop the bleeding.
Right.
So, right, wrong, or otherwise, this is our best chance to save the county some money.
Yeah. Anything else? Anybody? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Just,
Yes,
can I make a clarification or a question, I guess?
sure.
When I spoke to Mr. Larson, the approval of the settlement proposal and the payment agreement, since we did the resolution to authorize finance to handle it, that will not be going to the board.
Oh, okay.
I heard you say it'll go to the board and I just want
Yeah,
to make sure I was on the same
you have
page,
to-
so.
With the amount I'm talking about.
Yeah, because we did that resolution.
That makes sense as to why my signature needs to be on it.
I know you're past this. Can I ask one quick question?
You go right ahead,
The
sir.
established payment arrangements that we have with the vendors, if we are prepaying and paying it off,
That will definitely be the question.
there's at least one,
Make care.
Right.
be nice to be able to save some interest if we prepay.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. So we are on to 10.0, I believe, committee chair reports. It's been an interesting year with this whole thing with the nursing center and, trying to figure out my third time through the budgeting process. Certainly appreciate you all's efforts going through all that. It's been interesting. The only thing I still struggle with a little bit from a community perspective, from the finance is the fact that, we now have a lawsuit and, subsequent timing that's going to continue to have, fortunately, if we could do this advance and pay some things off, it'll save us some money. But the frivolity of this lawsuit and holding up the sale of the nursing center is really disappointing to me. When you hear how well it's going and how, you know, I know Mr. Bush and I talked about that after nursing last week. But it's just very disappointing to me that people still can't see the forest through the trees and see how much better off that facility is going to be in the hands of Serenity Estates. So I just hope more people in the public will take the time to analyze, to maybe even go see people out there and ask questions for themselves, not listen to me, not listen to the other side of the equation, but to really find out for themselves, because that's been my problem with having a referendum all along, is I don't know that people will take the time to really understand the issues at hand and the operational difficulties in running a nursing center, and the fact that the county has never really been very good at it. Maybe way back in the day when we first started. It's been a long time. So, but outside of that, as a general rule, I think this county's in very good hands. Most of all of the department heads do an excellent job maintaining their budgets, staying within budget. Appreciate that very much. And that goes out to everyone that's a department head, elected or otherwise. From my perspective, I think this county is very well run outside of that nursing center. And doesn't go unnoticed, at least in my mind. So thank you. All you guys do. That's my comment. Administration.
Yes, it was actually a really quiet meeting. We did push off. So there's an AI use policy coming, and then we bought the paper shredding service thing here as well. But then near the end of the meeting, there was some comments by all the people that report to the administration committee about the current copiers that we have and some issues going on. And so we're gonna dig into, get a list of what's going on and then see what we need to do there. So
Yeah, if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, you need to.
well, we need to understand what exactly it is and make a list of all the things. We just basically, they all agreed that there was issues, so we need to get them documented so we know exactly what's going on. And then they will have to have a sit down with the company or something. So I was glad they brought it up because if people don't say anything, I think everything's wonderful. Right? So I tell people at work. So, so other than that, it was a pretty quiet meeting. So next.
All right.
Right, so you all received the nursing center's report because Monica was absent. It was their family Christmas party that night, so she emailed out the report, or was invited. Some key notes is Monica stepped into the administrator position. She takes the final exam in January. Census is 55 with 6 skilled. Looks like the remodeling is on its way, but they did the lobby and it looks fantastic. They invited everybody to come out to see if anybody has, just to see the remodeling questions. Another thing that I thought was pretty cool is the Serenity Estates of Lena now. So they have a sister facility. So that's pretty cool that they get to have that and share everything with them. But other than that, everything's going smooth. And they still have not heard from the union yet on their red line response for them. So other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Wait, nursing, no, public property and safety is next.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Court services.
Services, everything's going well, we're busy, so busy. Zoning, Beth did mention that she can't make a copy of like a map that is anywhere near legible. It's just really bad.
That doesn't make any sense.
So she's really unhappy with the copiers. Not what she expected, like this,
Okay.
And we talked a little bit about youth diversion, just cleaning up the application process. Other than that was about it.
P&D. Planning and development. Okay. He's passing the buck, man.
Passing the buck in the
I
call.
know.
Anything?
About that.
Oh, what? Oh, you were there.
I was.
And he was not.
All 3 of us were there.
Yes, it was a brief meeting.
It was a brief
It
meeting.
was a very brief meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did
Just say
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Ryan.
I'm done.
Ron's got this new.
Can we go back, you mentioned about reorganization of the county board. Thinking maybe the chairman.
Oh, Mr. Helms, did you have a comment on that? That was on the agenda under like
7.3.
7.3 back in the agenda ways, but it's under the finance director, finance calendar updates.
It was not put on at my request.
I got you.
It's just
Might just be. on
what
that
happens in
list.
election years
Yes.
in December.
Just a reminder
Things
that
that
we'll
happen
be
in that month.
reorganized in December.
Sometimes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Okay,
Merry
so
Christmas.
after two fairly major snowfalls, we managed to get through yesterday without it being the third Sunday in a row.
Yeah.
So I think everyone is excited at the highway department to not have to move snow for a change on a Sunday. Just in case anyone gets to a holiday party and you start playing Stephenson County government trivia, how many gallons of diesel fuel did we used for each snowfall per truck?
Per truck.
Well, not per truck, per for the department.
You can imagine. We'll write it down.
750 gallons.
Oof.
I was thinking.
That really wasn't too bad for the number of
No,
hours.
sure that's not per truck.
That's it.
That doesn't, I expected a much larger.
Not gonna be per truck.
I thought it was 400 per truck is what it said. But you know what? I should not question your
I
fantastic.
really
job.
could be wrong on this. but
No, no.
I'm going off from memory, which
Sure
is
you're
not what
right.
it used to be. So,
All I remember is listening to the finance person talk about how touch and go it is for the remaining budget for 2026 because of all the snow we've had so far.
Yeah.
That's salt.
And I'm just thinking to myself, that's what you budget for, right? You might as well budget, it's gonna snow every day.
We hope.
Well, the last few
It's only
years, I would
snowed
think
twice.
we've been running the surplus the last 2-3 years. We haven't got any snow. This is the first
Yeah,
year we
no.
really had some.
It'll spoil.
Oh, this is all the snow we're gonna get between now and the end of the year.
Ready to
It kind of looks that way.
Yeah, for sure. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna be out
To
playing
the
golf
bank,
in
anybody.
So, of course, it's okay.
The only other thing I'll add, quick, is that, we will be bringing to the full board the lease for the new home for the animal control. So look for that on Thursday, and if anybody has questions leading up to that, please let me know.
So well, I will finish by saying it's been a pleasure working with you all on this committee this year. Thank you all very much for your service, counties and this. And I look forward to hopefully being here all the next years. And until I am no longer on the force. Well, that's a leave. So it is what it is, man. It's like, yeah. So, Mr. Bush,
So
I have a motion to adjourn. If I hear a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well,
See you all Thursday.
oh.